Hey everybody, this is Joe.
And this is Sam.
We are Subterranean Annihilation.
And we are unearthing underground filth.
Hey everybody, welcome to Subterranean Annihilation. I'm Joe. That's Sam. That's Matt Scott. What's up, Sam? What do you got for us?
What's up, guys? Today we got Matt Scott of the band Perpetuated, Bottom Feeder. He's a promoter in DC. He's an artist. He also runs a label, Born Dead Records. Glad to have you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here, guys. Good to see you.
Me too.
Wish it could be in person, but you know how shit is right now.
Yeah, that would be tight. Some human contact is much needed, but this will suffice.
Yeah,
I can do like a joke this way.
It's kind of staved off some of the crazy for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I kind of start out everybody with this question. What made you get into extreme music? Like, what bands?
So I guess I've always been like predisposed to like rock and shit because my dad was always into like AC/DC, like Aerosmith and shit. Like,
Oh yeah.
so he gave me a bunch of cassette tapes when I was a kid, and I was like, pretty cool, whatever. He never really got. He's not like a metal guy, so like we kind of lost him on like Iron Maiden, like heavier shit transition. But when I started finding like, I guess mostly punk bands, I was already sort of drawn to that. Like I just liked aggressive music anyway, and honestly, the gateway band for me is AFI, which is kind of odd.
Oh, dude. Same.
Like,
Yeah.
I think Sam and I have actually talked about this before.
Yeah.
How we both like came across this band and like it was very formative for us.
Yeah.
That band kind of opened me up to like shit like hardcore, and like from there it was just sort of I got into crust like not long after that, and that was like the gateway to the metal kingdom there. So
Oh yeah.
it just kind of spiraled off from there, just getting into punk bands when I was younger, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Right on. What's your favorite AFI album? Hello?
Sorry,
we got
a little laggy on this end.
So what's your favorite AFI album?
Oh, Shut Your Mouth and Open Your Eyes. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Like
Good
top
one.
tier.
Good one.
I mean, they have a pretty good catalog, I guess. It's weird. They're definitely like, I hate to say this about them, they're like a total like sellout band. Like they don't sound cool now.
No,
Like
not at all.
they're very bland up, and like I don't really get the whole. I don't get how the band that they were in the '90s became what they are now. But in the '90s, they were a very cool, like sort of weird hardcore band, which was tight.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
through them, I sort of found the like bands like Filth, which is more on the like when I found Filth and Blatz, like the shit split because they were like I guess contemporaries of that like scene or whatever. It was like game like Filth has that nasty punk sound that's just like that album rips. Like it's so tough.
Oh yeah. Hi Ozzy.
Oh, the dog's back. Sick.
Yeah.
He's a
He
regular
likes to do
feature.
whatever I'm in it.
I mean, I'm cool with that. If you have
Yeah,
questions?
I have no problem with it. So how'd you transition from that into like metal and grindcore? What were some of the formative bands for that?
uh, I guess I already just went on about Filth, so that was like a huge one. From there, it was
Yeah.
bands like Nausea from New York. Really into that. Like, there's a band Toxic Narcotic from Boston that was sort of like a crust punk band. They had like I remember some of their albums actually had like blast beats and stuff. So I don't know why they always got lumped into that like street punk kind of scene, which
Mm.
I was sort of into that when I was in high school, which I don't think that genre of music has aged very well.
No.
That was I don't know why they were lumped into that scene, but I guess I found them sort of through being into like related bands that didn't really sound like them, and I was like, I want more of this stuff with like the blast beats and like the aggressive vocals and all that. So like
Yeah.
that was when I first started like really checking out like grindcore, which I guess grindcore was the first like extreme metal that I was really into before like getting into death metal and black metal and all that. So, like, you know, obviously bands like Carcass and all that. I actually had a German teacher in high school who like was a metalhead, so he would see that I was into like these like crusty kind of bands and be like, hey, like, let me put you on to like some like real stuff, dude. Like, so he showed me a bunch of like black metal and like
That's awesome.
grindcore shit. So I owe him a lot for that. Like,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
That's really cool.
All of my music teachers were old as fuck, so they didn't really have anything to offer that was like metal oriented. But I was kind of the opposite. Like, I got into metal first, and then I got into grindcore.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I always think it's interesting how people get to grindcore. They either come from a punk
Yeah.
aspect or they come from a metal aspect
Yeah.
because the intensity of grindcore has like it's got that political intensity that what the punk's like, and then it's got like just the raw like hate like what the metalheads like. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, I came to it by way of punk, like I said. So, like, all the really political bands and like, I don't know, that kind of stuff just was such a pipeline into getting into just extreme music as a whole. Because then once you find out, like, all the sick grime bands ended up being in like all the sick death metal bands. So,
Yeah,
like,
they're very synonymous. I like it. I love it. I mean, black metal, death metal, and grindcore. I've always said that's the kind of music I listen to. Very picky, but that's who I am. I don't care. I got into grindcore because my buddy had a municipal waste bad acid trip split, and it had Kurt Russell on the front of it, and he bought it for the municipal waste side. But then we flipped it over, and the bad acid trip side, I was like, what the fuck? It was the first time I'd ever heard a blast beat. And I know that band isn't really known for like being intense or having blast beats or whatever, but on that they did. And like I was like, what the hell? And then I saw System of a Down and Bad Acid Trip opened for them. And this was when I was like 12. And it was the first time I'd seen someone do a blast beat live. I was like, what the fuck is that? I need that. Like that's amazing. Like it's so cool. So that's how I got into grindcore was Bad Acid Trip, which is weird, but whatever.
It was a weird gateway band, but
yeah,
that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So give us the history of your bands. You've been in a couple. When did you start playing music, and what bands were they, and how did they form and stuff?
So I started playing music in high school. Like I had a couple high school bands. They sucked. They were like I was mentioning earlier, like I was in the street punk kind of thing. Like it was like a bad attempt at like worshiping like Black Flag mixed with like the Casualties. It was like this is awful music. So that was kind of the only thing I really did for a few years until like uh, Bottom Feeder sort of happened by accident, like 2011, I believe. Like it had kind of just started out just like a joke, like that. Steve at the time were just like writing riffs together, and they were like, "Hey, you want to do vocals in this band?" I was like, "Okay, sure." Like I've been gunning for a band for a while now. Let's do it. And then somehow we're still like playing. Like it's almost been like 10 years now. It's weird.
That's awesome.
So that that was kind of like my main project for a while until I moved up to like the DC area, and like I've been doing Perpetuated, which I also just kind of like stumbled into because that's like an offshoot of Tomb Warden. I was like releasing Tomb Warden stuff a few years ago, like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And like it just jammed on some like death metal kind of riffs with our buddy Demir, and it's like, okay, I guess we're gonna do this band now. So that just kind of like
Perpetuated is fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like the Cursed Earth EP, and then what was your full length?
we have an EP, Chains of Industry, that came out after that one. Yeah. So we only have 2 releases so far. We have one more actually that we're like. So we're gonna do like a 4-way split with some other bands. The label hasn't like announced this yet, so I'm not gonna say who the lineup is yet. But I can assure you it's pretty sick, and a cool label's putting it out. So we're gonna have a new track out sometime like reasonably soon. So I'm pretty stoked for that. Thankfully, we got that locked in right before the coronavirus like world shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. Go ahead.
I think actually my first record, my vinyl purchase was the Bottom Feeder Suppression split. That was probably the only one that I bought like for the first time. Like I inherited a bunch of records from my dad, but with my own money, I think that's the first vinyl I ever got.
That's pretty awesome. I'm glad that one of the records I put out could be the first in your collection. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that record. I mean, Suppression,
I love both
like
sides.
we had like a total like we're not worthy kind of like Wayne's World moment when we agreed to do that split. Like this is really fucking cool because they played that record release show where we released our LP at the beach and played down the oceanfront forever ago.
Dude, that show was so sick.
It was pretty sick. Did one of your bands play?
Yes.
Joe?
Well,
ATT played for sure.
Yeah, I remember. I forget which band. Oh, Primitive Impulses. We played that one because Combat Wombat played right after us, and I had to walk my equipment like 5 blocks down the road during their set, and I was bummed because I wanted to watch them. But that show was sick.
The oceanfront's terrible for that. Like, load in at the beach is terrible.
No, I do not miss playing at the oceanfront at all.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No, I hate that place. But anyway, it was a fun show.
That was a there were some pretty cool shows at the beach, to be honest. I saw recently. I think Sam, maybe you posted this. There was a video of was it Mind is Prison playing that piece playing the box or whatever. That was a wild show. Like pretty unexpectedly heavy lineup for the Virginia Beach oceanfront.
Dude, they had some really good shows down there. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just like the circumstances of being down there were not fun, but like the shows were good.
Yeah,
there's so many good shows.
And all the fucking cops, like one time we Cybernetic Warcraft played down there, and our singer got arrested, like right after we played, and I couldn't enjoy the rest of the show because we were trying to go get him out, and it's just like full of cops, and like Hookup had some really awesome shows, like some of the best shows that I've seen, or the craziest that it ever got was at Hookup. And it's crazy because you just set up right in front of the kitchen, and the cook's like running past you, like when you're playing drums, the cook's just like opening the door right behind your drum set and going back and forth. It's like, okay, people moshing you and shit.
Yep.
Good times, man.
Jumping off the bar.
So, speaking of that, Matt, what were some of your favorite shows that you ever played?
Oh man, I've been really fortunate with shows, like with both my bands, to be honest. Like Bottom Feeder doesn't play a ton, but I feel like when we do, it's always with like out of town like friend bands, and like it's always like a big like homie fest whenever we play. trying to think like anything in particular. I mean that record release show that we were just talking about was a really great one because like I remember that was like a fest. Like so many bands played. And like I said, Suppression was there. Ancient Torture Techniques, like forever the greatest like VV 757 band for me.
Yeah.
So that was a good one. Pretty much everything that we play with Perpetuated. I play at Atlas up here in DC a lot. Like pretty much all of those shows are just we're really fortunate to have a place like that and a promoter like we got Ripping Headaches up here and Lauren that you've interviewed before, Homesick. Like they both bring really sick shows through here. One that stands out, I guess, we did get the chance to play the Genocide Pact like record release show at Rock and Roll Hotel.
Yeah.
Nice.
Rock and Roll Hotel, I guess, is gone now, so I just think it's weird.
Yeah.
Perpetuated played there, and it was like a death metal show. Cause, like, I never really went to very many shows there. I think I saw like Earth there once, and maybe like Boris. But I never really saw like
That's
metal
awesome.
stuff come through Rock and Roll Hotel. It was just like kind of weird that they had like this death metal gig there. I think Mammoth Grinder played that too. Like,
Fuck yeah, that's
Oh,
awesome.
it was pretty cool. Like a lot of people rolled out for that, and I mean, I think it was like a dual record release or something for Genocide Pact. That was the first time that our dude Demir, who plays guitar in Perpetuated, he is in G-Pack now too. So that was like the first night he did the double D for his first thing.
Double duty. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to.
Yeah, sometimes you got to.
Yeah, the Rock and Roll Hotel. I got to go there one time. They're kind of set up like Broadberry. It's like real narrow and long. The bars in the front, and then kind of opens up in the back with the pit. I actually saw Cannibal Corpse, Misery Index, and Hour of Penance there, and that was like my first big death metal gig. I think it's like
tight.
2011. But
I feel like that'd be pretty sweet to see Cannibal Corpse there.
it was, man, and there was
Like,
like
that big,
there was like an upstairs, and they had another stage set up, and there was like another show going on, and one of the local bands was trying to get me to come upstairs, and I'm like, dude, no, Misery Index and Cannibal Corpse are playing. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't care.
The
But,
local
yeah, it was a wild time, man.
where you are. Like, come support the scene, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like, I went up there between bands and stuff. It was alright, but like, nah, man. Cannibal Corpse is playing, dude.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah. You know what's better than watching Cannibal Corpse is drinking in a hotel room.
Are you talking
You don't
about?
like them, Joe?
Are we talking about like Chris?
No, that was total sarcasm. I was just like,
No, I meant upstairs was another venue.
oh, I'm
So-
sorry, I missed that. I haven't been to that place.
Yeah.
I thought you went up to the hotel.
Upstairs
They were
from
talking
the
about
bottom.
going up and like partying.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like anything like that. No. But yeah, upstairs is another venue with another stage. And this guy had like a local show going on. And he was trying to lure people to go up there. And nobody was going up there.
But no.
Yeah, hard pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool spot, man. But you know, a lot of venues don't last.
Yeah, sad reality.
So when did you start Born Dead Records?
Let's see, 2012, I think. In like 2011, when I guess Bottom Feeder was first starting, I was working part-time in a record shop with, you guys know Ryan Stoner, his label, Anthem, The Undesirable. He had like a physical store for like a summer in Norfolk, and I was working there. Like after my day job, I just come in there and just like try to like Rock Records. There was like a handful of us, and that's when he was first starting his label. And so the Bottom Feeder tape, the first demo that we did, was the first release on his label, and I actually like helped assemble those like for his label at the time. So doing that was just sort of like, I guess like this is kind of cool. I can keep doing this, like just release all my own stuff because we were writing for a full length at the time, and like I pretty much knew like we had just done like one or two demos, and like no one was gonna put out full length from Bottom Feeder at the time, especially because it was a very like lo-fi, like terrible ass recording. I was like, I'm just gonna put this out myself. So I did the LP, just kind of out of like necessity, I guess. Right. And then there, I started reaching out to like friends' bands and stuff. Most of the bands that I've worked with are sort of related in some way. Like I know someone in the band. Like that's how I ended up working with your band, Sam. Like yeah, each other. Like it's just kind of a fun way to, you know, it sounds stupid, but you can like support the scene and like support bands that you care about. Like it's just kind of like an outlet, I guess.
That's awesome, man.
Oh no, I totally understand that, and that is an awesome way to support the scene. I would never I don't even know what it goes all into it.
Me either.
I'm terrible at mailing stuff as it is, so mad respect, dude.
Yes.
That part does suck. I do not like dealing with postage, but respect to the postal system because I know they're struggling right now, and they like keep this going. Like everything now is done through like mail order and people trading stuff. Like I use the post office so much, and like I'm not even like a big label at all. Like it's just crazy that like we're in a time where like the future of the post office is in question.
It's that's crazy. Like I remember reading an article that the United States Postal Service is like in trouble and everything. So if that goes out, a lot of labels are going to be looking at other options.
That's
I guess the or something all the time suck.
So did you have like a bestseller? Like what was your favorite release?
I mean the Suppression split sold really well because they're just a very well established band that kind of does a lot of releases, especially splits. So, like that one probably went the quickest. I would say most of them like don't last terribly long because I don't do big runs. It's still pretty like a small run label. The only thing I've done like a large quantity of was the compilation 12-inch Whirlwind Struggle that we did. I think we did like 300 of those and still have like a box or two around. But they've done pretty well. They were being sold like to benefit a charity, so of course that helps. And it had 29 bands, like so there's like 29 different like outlets for people to like acquire this record. So
I need to pick one of those.
Like that does really well when there's like a connection to a well-known band or bands that are like coming together to do something, which is something I experience. So
I love it.
Is there any upcoming releases?
Yeah, actually. So I mentioned the compilation that we did before. We're actually doing a second volume in that like series. We've got a lot of bands confirmed, but we were basically at the point where we were going to start collecting tracks from everyone for like April or May, which clearly that did not happen because bands are not really like a thing right now. So hopefully, you know, after this quarantine deal's all like behind us and people can like record and like get out of their house again, we've got a bunch of bands locked in for that. So that'll probably be the next like big priority. Until then, we're doing like a reissue series of some like old school bands, like demos. Um, we're working on one right now. This old band called Seraphim. They were like a Richmond, like Hopewell area death metal band. We're like reissuing one of their demos, all at the end, the like '90s era, like kind of like a death metal gem, I guess. It's a terrible quality, but it's just like a wonderful little like snapshot of this obscure like scene that I was like a kid in the '90s, so I didn't know any of this cool stuff was going on.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to like hear that stuff now. So I'm really into like seeking out those sort of like obscure demos from weird bands. So recently we started reaching out to some old bands like that and just seeing like if they'd be interested in doing a tape, since there's not a lot of new music coming out right now with the bands that I was working with, because we're all on lockdown. So yeah, that'll probably be the next thing that we do. And it's kind of nice that you obviously have all the material ready to go. It's just kind of like polishing it up and making it look like a presentable reissue. So pretty excited for that. That's a little different than what I usually do. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm hoping I feel like there's an audience for this with all the like resurgence and like death metal popularity that's going on right now.
Oh, for sure.
So I'd really like to get some of these older bands that are kind of relegated to like blogspot type stuff,
Right.
on some kind of like physical release that isn't like $80 on Discogs or something.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I'm working on now, and just getting like new distro stock while everyone's just kind of got the free time, and postal service needs help anyway, like you're saying. So getting those mail orders in.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you do the artwork for the Whirlwind Struggle compilation?
No, that was done by a guy. He goes by Skinny. He did that piece. He's the same guy that did Mentally Murdered for Napalm Death.
Oh, sick.
Wow.
So that piece that he did is actually like a tribute to Mentally Murdered. Like if you put them like side by side, there's a lot of like similarities he worked in there.
I was gonna say,
because we kind of sought him out for like that concept, because I guess with the next one there'll be a similar thing. I'm not gonna disclose who yet because the artwork's not done.
You don't have to.
We're doing a similar thing with like it's a tribute to an old grindcore cover done by the same artist. So it's also going to be for some kind of cause. We're not sure what yet, but the first one, it was United We Dream, because like the 2016 election had just happened and we were all feeling like pretty politically charged, I guess, in the moment.
Yeah.
And like that one was pretty clear cut at the time. Now we're thinking about it, it's like, damn, everything's so like everything is fucked. What are we gonna like put this towards? Like,
yeah,
there's so much going on right now with like the virus and everything else. So that's kind of derailed the plans a little bit, but we'll see what ends up coming out.
Yeah. Well, you know what I like about like through all this like horrible, circumstances or whatever, I find through the people that we've been interviewing, like, and you're going right along with it, is like people are creatively, like, people that are creatively charged are really going for what they're doing, and like you just said, like you're finding something to do with your distro, like you're redoing the old 90s death metal bands. So like your mind is still like, I gotta keep doing what I love doing. I'm not gonna let this beat me. And that's what I like about the music scene, is we're like, no, this is our passion, this is what we love doing. We're gonna do something to beat this. We're not gonna let this beat us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like everybody right now is doing a lot of stuff, which is good to see. I mean, I'm glad that I have something like this to like keep me busy because I get very crazy if it wasn't for having some kind of outlet. Because I mean, we had so many. I'm really bummed that everyone I know has said this at this point, but I'm really bummed about all the show cancellations because we, with Perpetuated, we had like a couple really cool shows we've been looking forward to. Like Morpheus Descends was coming through, and never played DC, and that got and Bottom Feeder was going to do our one annual show at Songbird with Deterioration, and that got canned like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, just like everything was coming out great for like so many bands. It's just like, oh, totally derailed. Like everybody just out. So I know a lot of people are frustrated about it, myself included. But it's good that people are finding outlets and like still. I'm sure there's going to be so many recording projects and like DIY releases. I've already seen so many come out just in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Joe have been working on some recording some stuff too. So that's funny. Yeah, man.
Right.
Even with even besides the virus, there's so much messed up shit going on politically that I feel like there's almost a myriad of subject matter just to write about or frustrations that artists are gonna get out. I hate to say it like that, but I feel like when this thing is over, shows are gonna be like twice as aggressive, and people are gonna not take it for granted so much. And well, I'm hoping,
And, for sure.
Yeah, I hope there's some kind of like little, I guess like scene renaissance, or people just like really want to get back at it. Well,
that's funny you said that because I was listening to something the other day and I didn't realize this, but the Renaissance came right after the plague. I didn't know that. So like, this is a plague. So like you said, there's gonna be a fucking some kind of Renaissance. Hopefully in our scene with like cool music.
Assuming the views survive the shutdown, then yes, I think it will be a very good time. People will probably be very eager to get back out there, and people who were still making money during the shutdown are going to be eager to spend it on some nice band merch, support some bands, drink some beer. So
totally,
I think it's going to be a while, but hopefully that is the outcome.
Yeah. How's DC looking? Are you guys like hit pretty hard by it?
I mean, reasonably bad, I guess. I've been like pretty much on lockdown for like the duration of this. Hasn't impacted like my life personally a ton, other than just being home a lot. I was out of the country when like stuff really started to hit the fan.
Oh yeah, so, you went to Total Death over Mexico, didn't you?
Yeah,
awesome.
Me and Juan went to Total Death and with our buddy Jeff, and we were all like down there when like the European like ban and all that stuff started happening. So we were like, oh, like are we gonna get stuck in Mexico? This is looking a little weird. But everything ended up panning out okay. It was just like kind of weird coming back home because immediately after I got back, I didn't go back to like my normal routine at all. I just went from like vacation to like, okay, well, everybody stay home, and there's like a giant like pandemic going on now. Like, okay, this is very strange, but
yeah, I know it's shitty, but that is a very good last show to go to. Like, I can't even remember the last show I went to for shit lockdown, man. That is a solid send off for real. That lineup looked awesome, man. I'm glad you got to go to that.
Yeah, it was a great festival. They just started announcing next year, which also looks extremely good. So hopefully shows are a thing by then, and all those bands get to go there. Because when we went, most of the European bands didn't show up because they got banned from their flight like the day before they were going to play. So like we didn't see any of the European bands save for like one, I think. So hopefully they get that straightened out before before next year. So it was really cool. There were a few shows like just prior to that in DC too. Like Sanguisugabogg, that death metal band, came through with a Bob Fourth, and I think that was the last show I went to like in the States before we left, and that was a really good show at Side Bar up in Baltimore. Those bands are killing it right now, like the Maggot Stomp bands.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Well, that's that label Maggot Stomp puts out all these like
the label. Oh, okay. I thought that you were talking about that's the genre of music. Could be.
They have all.
I'm not gonna
like,
comment on the term caveman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go into the caveman death metal thing. Like, I think it's pretty cool, but that label's really like, I don't know if I necessarily get the gag.
Right.
As long as they wear sunglasses, like, that's probably cool.
Pit Vipers, camo shorts, and fucking mortician shirts. The label.
Yeah.
No, I like that kind of shit too, but I also like weird death metal and like black metal too, kind of more. So, you know, caveman stuff is fucking awesome when you're in the right mood for it. But other than that, I like weird shit, you know.
Yeah, I'm right there with
I feel
you.
that.
I think it's all about the mood you're in, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, music I listen to in the morning is way different than the music I listen to at the end of the day. I noticed at my job, I've been wearing my earbuds, and like at the beginning of the day, I'll listen to some like black metal or something. It's like calming for me, I don't know why. But then like in the middle of the day, I'll start listening to a podcast because I get tired of music. And at the end of the day, if they're working the shit out of us, and it's been like 12 hours, and I'm just like pissed off that I'm not at my house, I'll just put on Black Witchery and blast it. And I'm like, it like centers me. I'm like, okay, someone's as angry as I am right now.
All right, so dude, Matt, your artwork is really killer. You make awesome posters, and you like graphic design these awesome flyers. They're like politically charged. How did you get started making posters?
I started out just doing them. Like, no one asked me to. I just did it because I like seeing a good gig poster. It's just a cool art form. It was like a cool movie poster or anything else. It's just kind of got a cool aesthetic, and a lot of posters I was seeing at the time when like Bottom Feeder first started playing were like this like cut and paste kind of deal, which is it's cool, but like it just kind of felt like there wasn't a whole lot of energy being put into like that side of it. You know, no one really cared. I guess people don't care as much about like a physical flyer, like the act of like flyering for shows these days, because everything's on like Facebook event or whatever.
Yeah.
But I kind of just I still want to see a good poster for show. I really like having like an actual physical printed poster. So
dude, I'm right there with you. It's so cool.
Yeah, we've always been really into doing stuff like that. So I work with a screen printer up here in DC, and every time we get like a pretty like decently big show, we'll do like a run of just like the screen printed posters. That's always fun. It's just like kind of I was doing art on my own anyway, just like sketching. I've always been into like drawing, pen and ink kind of stuff. So it just kind of started happening because I did them for my own bands and for friends' bands, and people were like, "Oh, this is pretty cool. You know, you want to do something for the next one? Sure." And then by the time I got to DC, I'd already done a bunch. Like we did Brain Hemorrhage Records Festival a couple of years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like I just pretty much showed that to like my promoter friends here, like people like Hassan and Tommy, and they were just like, okay, we'll keep doing these. So
Yeah.
it kind of like spread from there, I guess. I really enjoy doing that stuff, so I kind of seek it out a little bit. So I'm amazed that people are like into it. I'm super thankful for that. Like, it's just like really kind of silly, like tribute to like world downfall kind of stuff.
Oh
For me,
yeah.
it's like, uh, uh, I was really into that kind of thing, like I mentioned before. But like, there's a certain level where it really becomes like just like a different kind of like art form, which is pretty cool. It's pretty unique to like the underground in a sense. Like so many albums have that style or like Napalm Death stuff and
Yeah.
like Terror Rocker. Um, and they sort of have that politically charged element too, which I think gives it a little bit of like a like it should almost like be mildly offensive, I guess, or it should like shock you. Like
Yeah.
want my seat on the wall. It's like you should stop want to stop and see what this is about. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I definitely get that, and it's perfect for grindcore, I think, with the style. And it's funny that you should mention Terrorizer World Downfall, because that was actually one of the things I was going to compare it to. I remember one of them had like the White House, and it had like Donald Trump's with his eyes blocked out, and Hillary Clinton, and they all look like super evil, and like it's just goes with the style. You know what I mean? Like you really can't get a better layout for a grindcore show, and I think that the posters, sometimes the flyer, if you look at the flyer, it can hold somebody's interest. So if a grindcore fan's like scrolling through and they see that and they're like, holy fuck, I got to go to this show. It's all presented well. You got a graphic on there, and all the information's laid out in front of them. They're like, hell yeah, you know. Whereas you could have the same bands and you have a shitty flyer, and you're like, oh, look at this flyer, and you just keep going. So I think the art, the poster is really underrated part of the aspect of shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I mean the whole
Sorry. Go ahead.
the whole thing is about promotion anyway. So a good design is gonna catch people's eye, draw them in, and that's ultimately what you want to do. You want them to come to the show. Oddly, the like one of the most popular ones that I've done recently was for when Bandit came through DC.
Yeah.
Did one that I guess was topical at the time. So it was the Jeffrey Epstein thing. Like he had a similar look. His eyes were like blocked out and he had blood like splattered on his face. So like Trump and the Clintons were like laughing at him or something.
Yeah, I think that was
And
one
I was like, there's no way. Like, I kind of like sent that off like, okay, there's no way like the venue's probably not gonna like this hanging because like at Pie Shop DC or something. It's like I don't really think they're gonna put this up in their like family friendly pie shop or whatever. But all the bands loved it. They were just like, this is really cool. This is a lot of fun. Like I like that about grindcore. It has that aesthetic that's just kind of like, yeah, this is like really like fucked up, nihilistic, but like you kind of have to laugh at it a little bit, like the absurdity.
Yeah.
I feel like it's always been something in like Napalm Death albums and stuff. Even going back to like Scum, like you got like the corporate logos everywhere. It's just like depressing in a way that nothing has changed, but also like
Yeah.
Seeing as nothing has changed, that expressing that sentiment still like means a lot to me to see and like bands using that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a reality. It shows you reality, shows you maybe a truth that you don't want to see, and it's offensive in that way. But maybe not offensive to some of us, but just kind of like jars your senses a little bit. You're like, oh shit, you know. So are you thinking about making like a business? Do you have like a Facebook page or like a business page for it?
Not really. I mean, at this point, most of my work is just like word of mouth. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, no there's no shows going on right now, so
You're right.
definitely
It might be a lack of that.
I have recently started doing like I did a T-shirt last week for Oregon Trail.
Sick.
And I recently did one for a record shop up in Pennsylvania. So I started branching out into doing like some other like non-poster work, especially since I have time right now. But um, I don't have any immediate plans to go like do all that. I get a pretty decent amount of work since I do this all pretty much as like a side gig.
Yeah.
I get a pretty decent amount of offers when things are open, just from word of mouth and stuff. I am planning to like actually like go back to school and finish like I was studying design at one point and I just kind of didn't like I just like dropped off, like didn't finish. So I do plan to like finish that and pursue it professionally at some point. Which I've started doing during the shutdown. I've actually started working with like a local brewery, doing some like beer can labels.
Oh, cool.
So
Nice.
I actually showed them like a lot of the poster work before we started like working on things. So hopefully I can use some of that kind of stuff. It would probably be a little less extreme than what I would do for say a grindcore or death metal show. But it was exciting to work on something new. So hopefully I'll keep going on that path, I guess. I don't know if I'd start a business though necessarily. I don't really know what that entails.
Right.
I feel like I've already got enough to like handle with like a day job and then doing the record label and the bands. So like I like to stay really busy. I tend to like want to stay active for my mental health sake, So
Got to.
I end up taking on a lot of projects. I feel like that's what so many people are in like a dozen bands, or everybody in the band is also like doing like visual arts, like filming shows or something, which is all that's really cool about like DIY, like underground culture and stuff. But
definitely,
like we're an entire generation of like crazy people, just like trying to feel what's going on the planet. It's like I have to stay really busy now.
Yeah. Got to.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, you just sit around for one day. If you just sit at home for one day by yourself doing nothing, at the end of the day, you feel like shit and you feel crazy. And it's not this. Well, for me, I'm no good for anybody after that. So what you mentioned that your day job? Are you working right now? How are you keeping busy during the lockdown?
So I normally work. My day job right now is working at an art school, local city, like an art center. They're shut down because of all the health concerns. So since I'm normally a facilities manager, there isn't really much going on at the facility. So I still have a job, but I go in very like sparingly, just kind of like on an as needed basis. We're not opening up. We're not opening up like anytime soon because a lot of the people who go there and take courses are like elderly people in the community. Especially during the day, like a lot of people who have free time to take these art classes are retired people. So we're a really high risk group. So in the meantime, I've just been taking advantage of, like I said, doing some design work on the side. The brewery thing is a new development, so I'm hoping that plays out really well. So I'm kind of just treating that as sort of my day job until things ease up and I can go back to, real work.
Yeah.
That's what's
You're
up,
an
man.
essential guy, aren't you, Sam?
I am technically. I don't feel like it sometimes, but yeah, I do heat and air conditioning. So
essential, actually.
I'm out there. Say again?
You guys are both essential, aren't you? You guys are both that good,
Yeah, I don't think I'm that essential either, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm like not essential compared to like what people need for the plague. People don't need. They don't need a new road.
Really getting like some excessive use lately. There's definitely some non-essential businesses still open.
Yeah.
People doing non-essential things, but we'll see how that plays out, I guess.
I like the paycheck though, so I'm not complaining. I mean, I'm very,
Yeah.
very, very, very blessed compared to a lot of people and what they've had to go through. So,
Absolutely.
you know, I mean, me and my wife
Restaurant
have,
industry, music industry.
yeah, they're like, what are they gonna
Super
do?
hard.
You know, I feel so bad for bartenders because they make like
Yeah.
600 a week or whatever, and now they're
Sometimes a
making,
night.
and sometimes a night, and now they're making
Yeah.
nothing. And what do? And I feel bad for people that like have lost family members or like, you know, like I haven't yet, so that's good. And I'm so lucky. So
Yeah, I've also been very fortunate. So far, like I said, this hasn't impacted me in my personal life too much, other than just being secluded and having to deal with the weird working conditions. But
Yeah.
man, some people are still going to work every day, and like I feel for them, man. That sucks. Like no one. I mean, it's just kind of terrible. Everyone's like, all these essential workers are heroes, but they're kind of being held hostage. Like they don't have a choice. They don't want to be going out and getting sick any more than anybody else does.
right.
It is like going into somebody's house always sketches me out. Just cause like well lately actually I've been kind of lucky. I've been doing like new construction and it's been just me and my helper lately, and I haven't been around too many people, but it is always like very uncomfortable going to like a new building or a new place and you're like, man, I know these motherfuckers aren't washing their hands, and I know, you know, we're not going out looking for it. Like none of us are going out looking for it. We're staying clean. We're washing our hands. We're not going to like anti-quarantine protests and standing around 20 people without masks on. You know what I mean? Just like you got to play it smart. And the fucked up part is you need other people to be smart, and they're not. And they're not doing the right thing, and relying on other people is what scares me. Like I know that me and Amber and my company that I work for, we're handling stuff okay. Like we got hand sanitizer on deck. We're wearing masks going into the supply house. We're not going too crazy or anything. But other people is what scares me. And
Yeah.
seeing all this like shit going down with the protests and like the rednecks out there full force, like you can't hold us down. This is America. You know what I mean? Like you guys aren't getting it, man. Listen to the scientists.
Such an American thing to like
Yeah.
take up arms in protest to like go back to work is like, man, like we need to get y'all some new ideology because like y'all already got the like armed revolution part right. But,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, man. Like that's a concerning like cause for people to rally behind. Like
Right.
you're not thrown in jail or anything. You just gotta stay home so like grandma doesn't die.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
is that crazy?
I know.
And this thing, like I'm for that. I'm for protesting. I'm you should be able to protest and everything. So let me clear that up. And I want people to go back to work, and I want them to go back to their jobs, but I want them to be smart at the same time, and they're not going to be smart.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, believe me, I'd love to get out of my house and get back to like quote normal life.
Yeah.
Much as the next guy would, but you know, just the total disregard for like the safety of the general population is just kind of astounding. Like,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you were learning a lot about this.
Man, America is a wild place sometimes.
Learning a lot about our fellow Americans here during this.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, I learned a lot when Trump got elected. It was a hard truth for me of how ignorant people are, and also like, all right, I'll tell you what, the fucking sheep people that like are like Trump no matter what, everything he says, but they're the same people that are like whoever's in office no matter what. You know, those people like, well, it's the president said it, so I must. You know, those people are scary, but they're also injecting Lysol. So it's like
It's a bold move.
it's kind of a win-win, to be honest with you. Because if you're dumb enough to do whatever this guy says, and also dumb enough to inject yourself with Lysol, let me have a little anecdote with y'all. My wife is a pharmacy tech. They had to take Lysol off of the shelves, not because they sold out of Lysol, because people were injecting Lysol. Someone comes up to her counter and is like, "Where's the Lysol at?" And I'm not kidding. This is literally what happened. I don't think she would lie to me. So she was like, "Man, we had to take Lysol off the shelves because of what the president said." And the lady goes, "Well, that's exactly why I needed the goddamn Lysol." And she like storms out.
Oh God!
And I'm like,
Oh,
"Are you
damn.
serious?" I was like,
life, dude.
"What the fuck? Is this idiocracy? Is this really happening? People think that it's clearing their systems out?" Wow. That's like,
It really is next level absurdity.
I can't believe that's real life. It's real life.
Absurdity writes itself, you know. Like it's just one batshit insane thing after another. Like
yeah.
I can't believe it.
yeah, it's unreal, man.
Injecting Lysol. That's a new one. I never thought that I would live in a world where that was an option, or people are doing.
No.
The lady got mad at her because she couldn't get Lysol to inject it with. Like, is she buying syringes too? Like, what the?
Well, yeah, she
you're
was buying syringes for my, because they sell syringes for diabetic patients.
Oh my God.
Right. So she was seeing that she.
You guys are suppressing her medicine, like straight up.
Wow.
This is a topic of discussion. The president said, well, he didn't say inject Lysol, but he said, can we find a way to inject Lysol? And his dumb followers are like, oh, okay, well, I guess that means I should do it to get rid of the virus.
I think what he said was we should look at a way to get disinfectant internally, or is something that they should look into.
Right.
But of course, when people hear about it and then the news covers it, they're like, the president said inject Lysol. So, his loyal followers are like, yeah, inject Lysol, that'll work. And then other people are like, no, fuck no. So it's just crazy.
Why aren't the crops growing? We put Gatorade on them.
That's straight up where we're at, dude. That's the level we're at right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Amen.
I'll say that.
We are thankfully seeing some cool new music coming out. Well, the music that is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Matt,
What is some of your favorite new music that's come out this year?
Oh man.
Take your time.
I don't really listen to new music. No, I'm playing. There is a band called Putrescine. I believe they're from California. It's like a death metal project. I believe it's a drum machine project. They're kind of like a politically charged, sort of like a Morbid Angel style throwback. Their demos are really tight. I believe that was released a couple months ago. I haven't really listened to a ton from like 2020 so far. I know that band 16. I really like 16, that sludge band. They got a new record coming out in like a couple weeks. I'm pretty stoked to catch that. There's all the stuff, like I was saying earlier, on Maggot Stomp, like that kind of that's a label where you know what you're getting, but what you're getting is gonna be like pretty good,
yeah.
like if you're doing that kind of thing. So like being really heavily into death metal, like pretty much anything that they put out is, at least like decent quality. Like the band Vomit Forth, did an album. What was it called? I think Northeastern Deprivation, something like that.
Yeah.
Really sick. Like
really good brutal death metal.
yeah, I'm normally not super into like brutal death, but they do it pretty well. Like I'm really into what they're doing. Yeah, that band Frozen Soul, it's also a Maggot Stomp band. Really stoked to see what they do with their full length coming up. So pretty much just I don't know. There's not a lot of like hidden gems in death metal right now because I feel like metal is doing really well, which is that's great. But like usually when I want to find something like off the beaten path, I have to like I was saying earlier, dig into some blog spot and find some weird like shitty sounding '90s demo or something.
Yeah, man. I've been listening to that new Internal Rot.
That album is really
constantly.
Yeah, that album is insane. Like, I believe I want to say the drummer of that band is also in Incinerated.
Oh shit!
Another Aussie like death grind band. I'm pretty sure that's the same dude. But like the drummer of Eternal Rot is like insane, dude. That album is like top tier grindcore.
Yeah.
They are awesome. So is Incinerated. So is Rawhead. I love Australian grindcore.
Yeah, they could do no wrong.
Like, there's some combination of like those dudes in like all of those bands. I'm pretty sure, like their members, which the scene in any given area is very much like that. Like,
for sure,
do like 40 though.
Dude, Sam, did when we saw Rawhead, the dude singing was the drummer for Sulfuric Cautery. You got it. Like,
what?
Yeah, because I was like, that guy looks fucking familiar. And then I go back and I saw a picture with him backstage with them, like in a band photo. I was like, what the fuck?
And he's a hyper blaster himself.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, he could have just hopped on the kit and played that easily.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that Rawhead release is just, I listen to it like once a week. It's so good. Yeah. I was going to say, for Australian grindcore, for some reason, maybe it's the environment they live in, it's just so fucking intense. Like, the Kill, Fuck I'm Dead, two of Jay's bands. I mean,
Captain Cleanoff.
Captain Cleanoff is amazing. Like you said, Internal Rot. They just have like some sort of weird intensity, like all Australian bands in any extreme form of music really does have like some weird, like, you can tell that they have to fend off dangerous killer snakes and spiders every day.
Hell yeah.
But yeah. Well, I think you got some more questions, Sam?
I mean, no, that's it, man. That was actually the last one.
Word.
So, yeah, Matt, thank you so much for being on our channel, dude.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. Good bullshitting with you guys.
Yeah.
Glad you guys are both staying locked down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I wish it could be at a show, but maybe soon,
Yeah, it'll get back to that point sometime. We'll reconvene at some point in the future.
For sure. And
definitely.
Everybody look out for the Bottom Feeder track I'm gonna upload along with this. This Bottom Feeder's amazing. I love that one show a year you guys play. I'm always at it. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're listening.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
If you're listening, go check out Born Dead Records. Go check out Perpetuated. Hit up my boy Matt Scott for sick artwork and posters or flyers whenever shows are a thing again. And thank you guys for tuning in. And make sure you like and subscribe to Subterranean Annihilation. Leave a comment. Tell us what you would like to see and how we did and everything. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Later, guys.
See you guys.